I'm Mila. My last name's Mendoza. I think everyone shopped from a fast fashion company at least a few times in their lives. Some of you may regularly shop fast fashion. The problem is that not everyone realizes how bad it is. Fast fashion is more harmful than people recognize, and I'm here to talk about it. What I discuss in this video doesn't only have to apply to fast fashion, and you'll see that later on. With that said, I'll go over what fast fashion is, causes and effects of fast fashion, alternatives to fast fashion, and then I'll wrap everything up with a conclusion, all while I make this shirt from scratch. What is fast fashion? Jinx, you owe me soda. Fast fashion is fashion that's fast. It's meant to be sold fast, produced fast, fast. Fast fashion is mass-produced fashion clothing sold at low prices. They're meant to be sold quickly by staying on top of trends and by being cheap. Probably heard of or even shopped at fast fashion stores.
Let me name a few.
Victoria's Secret,
Guess,
Fashion Nova,
Zara,
Forever 21,
H&M,
Trendy Melville,
AliExpress,
Gap,
Shein,
Uniqlo. There are so many fast fashion companies around us, and if you want to know if one of the places you shop at is a fast fashion company, ask yourself these questions. Is the brand quick to release its clothing after a trend popularizes? Is the brand's clothing produced in a big factory where workers are exploited and paid unfair wages? Are the clothes made from cheap, low-quality materials? Now that we know what fast fashion is, let's go over consumerism. Consumerism is people buying lots of things just for the hell of it. Maybe they really like it, maybe they're trying to fill a void. Consumerism is people buying things at a high rate. Consumerism makes people think, oh, I need this, or oh, they have this thing, I need this thing, or haha, this will help the economy. But the bad part about consumerism is that it promotes people to buy fast fashion for its low prices. Usually over time, people who buy lots of clothes let the clothes go to waste. Even when the prices add up after a while, people continue to buy fast fashion for its affordability and trendiness. But have you ever thought of how companies got their clothes so cheap? The causes and effects of fast fashion. Oh my god, you actually got me a soda. Thank you. You're welcome. The causes and effects of fast fashion. The cheap prices of fast fashion clothing are cheap because the materials are cheap. Fast fashion is disposable and a waste of stuff. Fast fashion is unsustainable, which means it's bad for the environment as well. Because of fast fashion, there's tons of carbon emissions, the dyes pollute and dry water, and the textiles go to dumps. Not only that, fast fashion exploits workers. Some brands have sweatshops that subject laborers to low wages but make them work high hours. And most of the time, the working conditions are unsafe. Sometimes child labor is involved. So why do fast fashion brands act like this? Capitalism. Capitalism is the maximization of profit, and fast fashion maximizes their profit thanks to cheap labor as well as cheap materials. Now, I'm going to stray away from fast fashion a little bit to make this big point. We can't completely get away from unethical activity. Sometimes the alternatives are connected to unethical stuff. When people try to boycott fast fashion brands or any other brand, let's remember that it's hard to find more ethical alternatives. So to put this into perspective, let's use the Nestle water brand for example. To say the least, Nestle has a very bad history and it's a lot to go over. So let's say you drank Nestle water and then found out how bad the company is. After learning how bad it is, you turn to Arrowhead as an alternative. Guess what? Arrowhead is connected to Nestle. It's a Nestle brand. It's a brand owned by Nestle. Let's look at one of my favorite pictures of all time. It might seem whack that one of my favorite pictures is a picture of a distributor chain, but here are my other favorite pictures to make it less weird. Anyway, there are so many brands owned by other brands, so if you try to avoid one for its controversies or whatever, there's probably more to avoid than you think. To relate it to fashion again, let's look at this one about fast fashion brands. If you want to avoid, say, Gap and then support Old Navy, you'd still be supporting the bigger person who's being unethical. There will always be those ubiquitous companies that we can't never seem to get rid of, like Amazon or Apple, because they're too useful to get rid of. For example, Google would be really hard to get rid of, especially for how convenient it is. Google isn't bad as far as I know though. But the main idea is it's hard to find more ethical alternatives sometimes. In fact, under capitalism, there's no ethical consumption. There can't be ethical consumption under capitalism because to make a profit, workers are paid less than the value their labor produces. There's always going to be unethical practices, but as individuals, consumers, we should make the effort to choose the lesser evil.
Alternatives.
Wait, you said it way too early.
Yeah, I was scared of not saying it on time. It's like when you close your eyes before a camera flash and then open them at the right time, you know?
But this is not like that. What? So now I'll list ways to combat fast fashion as an individual. Avoid or try to avoid fast fashion. Don't shop at fast fashion brands, or at least shop there less. Not everyone has the privilege to do so. Some people can't afford to avoid it. This also proves that anything close to ethical consumption is a luxury. But anyway, do research on what brands to support or brands to avoid. There are already apps that do the research for you. The one I personally use is called Good On You. Get familiar with secondhand clothing. Borrow clothes, buy secondhand, or even donate your clothes if you want to. Shopping for clothes on apps like Mercari or Depop allow people to shop secondhand. Don't be ashamed to buy from thrift stores like Goodwill either. Don't even be ashamed of wearing clothes that someone owned first. It's more worth it than you think. Secondhand is much more eco-friendly than contributing to fast fashion as well. Thrift stores usually provide similar prices to fast fashion also. If you do choose to shop secondhand, don't overconsume. Be considerate of how some people have to rely on thrift stores. Recycle your clothes. You could use old clothes as cleaning rags. Upcycle your clothes. Upcycling is turning old clothes into something better. Do what I do and make your own clothes. You'll have to devote some time and effort into developing skills in sewing though. These tips could also work for general shopping. You could buy things, not just clothes, from thrift stores or flea markets.
Conclusion!
Yay!
Yes, finally!
To wrap up, make do with what you have. You might be ashamed after learning the troubles of fast fashion. Keep the fast fashion products you have. Don't throw them away, just avoid fast fashion in the future. People are allowed to do whatever they want, but it's important to know the effects of unsustainable fashion. You can continue to shop at fast fashion stores. I'm just here to tell you that there's more at stake for looking good than you think. Generally, do not buy things you don't need. Do not buy things just because they're cheap. Here are some questions to ask yourself before deciding to buy something. Will you wear it often? Does it go with your other clothes? Will it last a long time? And here are some optional questions that could help you if you care enough. Is this a fast fashion product? Does this brand treat its workers well? Did animals die for it? Are the materials good quality? Does this express who I am? Does this even look good? Don't forget that you can dress well in minimal clothing. So what am I gonna do with my newfound skill? I'm gonna make more clothes that suit my style.
If you couldn't already tell, making my own shirts is my own way of avoiding fast fashion. I developed my sewing skills over 4 months, and I also ended up wasting a little amount of stuff even as a novice. I'm also gonna upcycle clothes that I've never worn and don't like. Like, look at this shirt. How can I offend you today? That's hilarious. And this shirt, look at this. I love sarcasm. It's like punching people in the face, but with words. Hilarious. Nice one, Mila. Nice one, shirt. And look at this. Friend shirt. Need I say more? And then look at this other shirt. Hangry. Adjective. Anger fueled by hunger. Yeah, and now this is me laughing. Would you be surprised if I told you that all those shirts came from the same person? My sister. So now I'm gonna prove that all that footage of me sewing is actually me sewing with my eczema. I didn't realize until the end that I didn't show my face at all, so it would be really hard for me to prove that it was me, unless I showed my eczema, which is still on me and is in the footage. So now I'm gonna link those two things up. You can see that in this picture that my mole under my knuckle and all the rashes match up, even if it got a little better in the bottom picture. Then there's this picture and this picture. You can see that there's a little mole there and it matches up. I hope that this is enough proof.
So the main takeaways from this video, Fast fashion is bad, overconsumption is bad, and you can avoid contributing to both. People can avoid ethical alternatives sometimes, and sometimes there are no ethical alternatives because capitalism. Thanks for watching. What was your favorite part of the video?